Good morning. Beautiful. Kind of boring to always just go sit. So I'm walking back to my little perch in the back of the property and not going to church today. Gabe has an early game. I always tell my kids you can go to church or give them the option, or do you want to be the church? When they complain about going to church, I'll say, okay, we can be the church. So we'll go hang out with the homeless or go to the nursing home or just go love on somebody. Got my stuff. I got my flags. I got my Bible. And my sister calls me Pastor Love sometimes when she's joking. Oh, okay. It said our connection was lost. It was weak. Anywho, I'm going to talk about grace today and start out with the writing that God gave me. All these poems are on remembermemore.com. The writing that God gave me about grace, and grace is a big word. It packs a lot of punch. I don't know how much we'll get to actually talk about, but we'll go for it. Grace to suffer, grace to hope, grace to wait, and grace to cope, grace to live and grace to die, grace to heal and grace to cry. Until we meet Him face to face, our lives are held by grace. Grace is it's such a big word. It's not just God's unmerited favor. It says in Ephesians that we're saved by grace through faith, not on our own, lest any of us could boast. And then in 2 Corinthians, I think 2:9, it says, this is when Apostle Paul was struggling with the thorn in his flesh, and he begged God 3 times. He's like, take this from me. People want to theorize what the thorn in the flesh, but actually nobody really knows. But anyways, it was something that was causing him enough pain. He begged God 3 times to take it away. And Jesus told him, the Lord said, my grace is sufficient for you. Paul, Michelle, who's on there, Sherry, Laura, His grace is sufficient for you. And His strength is made perfect in our weakness. So grace to me, I feel like it's the currency of heaven. I feel like grace is it's huge. It's unmerited favor. It's like He's your dad, so He loves you, and you get the access to what your dad has. God's your father, but it's also the currency of heaven, where it's your enablement, it's your power. It's everything that you need for life and godliness. Gosh, I just don't like to sit down. So I wanted to say a couple stories, because I talked a little bit about how God, I'm a mess, and He turned my mess into His message. I got my flags today. Can you see? One of my friends from the nursing home gave me a scarf, and I turned it into a flag. And you're like, she really doesn't care. You're thinking that. And I really don't. You know what? I dance. I'm one of those people in church that raise my hands and twirl. And I guess if you were bound your whole life and miserable and pitiful, and God made you joyful and powerful, you would probably twirl and dance and laugh and sing and not care a flying rip what anyone else thinks except God. I try to live for the audience of one. But anyways, about grace, like a perfect example in my life is my kids. My kids they really are amazing. 5 children, amazing kids. And this is the caveat here. In spite of me, not because of me. It's like in spite of me, because I was in survival mode when they were young, at least for my older 4, and I could not get it together. And so, example, I did what mothers have nightmares about. So Paul was in spring training. Joshua was like a month old, maybe 2 months old. I'm living with my in-laws, and my brother-in-law and I were taking Josh to the store, and we're just like walking along and swinging the car seat as we're walking across the pavement. And all of a sudden, my worst nightmare happened. The car seat clicked in. We both had a hold of it, and I had forgot to click the lock button, the strap button. All of a sudden the car seat clicks in, and my newborn baby goes flying about 20 feet across the pavement. I literally froze. He was a perfect baby. He never cried. So there's Joshua, and he flew across the pavement, and me and my brother-in-law are just like, and then I stopped, and I thought, I just killed my baby. I just killed my baby. I mean, he was face down on the pavement. So I was like, ran over there, and then he cried. And I picked him up, and he had bruised head, but it's God's grace. I know his angels caught him. There's just no way. There's so many stories. My daughter Kaylee, she was a handful, but I mean, I didn't sleep all night because I had chronic insomnia, and then you got to get up with babies, and I was just tired of fighting this toddler. And she would just throw her Cheerios on the floor. And we were out in California at the time. Paul was playing on another minor league team. I had no help, no family, and I'm just undone. I'm just a tired mom. And anyways, my brother was staying with me at the time, and he just thought I was on drugs or something, because I just got up, I looked at her, and I knew she was going to throw the Cheerios on the floor, so I took the box of Cheerios, and I just dumped them straight on the carpet. I know you germaphobes up there about, getting sick, but God's grace, he covered me. I have amazing kids in spite of me. So I just want you to lay a hold of his grace today. Ask for it. And some of you who are like, I don't know about what she says about God and Jesus and all this stuff, but I'm like the most unreligious person that you're ever going to meet. It's about relationship, and I just dare you. Ask God, if you're real, reveal yourself to me. Jesus, reveal your love to me. Show me who you are, and ask for his grace today, and it will pour down like a waterfall on you. So, I want you to go have an amazing day. You're beautiful. I'm going to stay out here in the back of my property, wave my flags, do some worship, have church. You can be as close to God as you want to be. Honest, you really can. He's right there. He's beckoning you. He loves you. He's calling out your name. Oh, this is Grace, by the way, on my pendant. So go for it. Talk to him, and guess what? He talks back. It's a two-way conversation. I love you. Be loved. Shalom.